ना अमिस यह कर ट्राई कर वापस। अस्सलाम वालेकुम डॉक्टर साहब। हेलो। अस्सलाम वालेकुम। अमन साहब ठीक से सेहत ठीक असल पे। हाँ मेरो इकबाल साहब नश तमिस सत बह कत करान कि तुम कत छो। अच्छा अच्छा ठीक बह कर इन गोक इन ओके चलो। हाँ इकबाल साहब ओके। हाँ हेलो।
हेलो।
हाँ मनान साहब
हाँ सर ठीक कुछ बस।
ठीक गए
अच्छा सौदा कैसे स्टार्ट है?
हाँ।
ओके।
अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
अस्सलाम वालेकुम फारूक साहब।
जनाब तो ठीक इशा लाइव वुनकस
लाइव लाइव वनकस हेलो हेलो।
हेलो यूट्यूब लाइव से दिखाऊंगा।
ये नहीं चल रहा है।
हेलो।
Good morning to all participants. I welcome you all today in this webinar, that is COVID-19 and its impact on mental health of students. So we'll be starting this webinar in 5 to 10 minutes. So be patient, students, my dear students and my colleagues. Dr. Saab have already joined. So we'll be formally starting this webinar in few minutes.
No problem, no issues. Thank you. Monday log now was blood. Hello. Assalamu alaikum. You are not audible. I think you are muted.
Yeah, I'm now unmuted. Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Saab.
अस्सलाम, क्या हाल चाल है? आप ठीक हैं?
बस सर अच्छी तरह से। आप ठीक हैं सर?
क्या हाल है आपके?
बस सर फाइन, आई एम फाइन सर। हाउ आर यू सर?
बस अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह चल रहा है, सब ठीक है अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह. Everything is as it is for everybody else.
जी सर.
Sailing in the same boat.
Exactly sir, exactly.
The people have joined.
Yes,
Askar
joining sir, people are joining.
Okay.
Sir, we're waiting for, it will take us, I think, 5-10 minutes more. Because
Okay.
we have to wait for principal sir, he will formally inaugurate.
Right. ठीक है, I'll be joining you inshallah in 5 minutes. No problem.
Okay sir.
Okay.
Have John Saab joined? John Saab. John Saab, kindly let me know your ID. Professor John Saab, if you are here, kindly let me know your ID so that I can unmute you. Kindly send me a message. So I welcome you again, dear participants. I'm pleased to welcome you in this webinar, that is COVID-19 and its impact on the mental health of the students. This is a part of the online webinar which our college is organizing since from last few months. And after consultation with the honorable principal sir, he has agreed that we will bring some psychiatrist who can give you a little bit of tips regarding your mental well-being. As we all know, we are under a sort of stress from last 5-6 months due to this COVID pandemic, and it becomes our duty that and is a responsibility to take care of our students, our dear students. So we know that it is an important to all of us that keep pace with the latest innovations in science, technology, and in this now as a student we have a new learning technique, that's e-learning. So, and we cannot say no to that e-learning if we don't have this, if COVID didn't have exist, that too, because now e-learning has become now indispensable in education. So to keep pace with the advancement to keep pace with the advancements of the technology and to take care of our health, we have decided to organize this webinar today for our students. So we're waiting, dear students, we're waiting for our principal sir, who will formally this time who will formally start this webinar, and then our distinguished guest, Professor and Dr. Abdul Majid, who is an associate professor, is a consultant psychiatrist in SKIMS webinar. He will be deliberating a lecture. So, inshallah, we are going to start it soon. So, dear students, please, you have to bear with us for a few minutes, and then we'll start this webinar. Thank you very much.
Aš उसमें confusion they came through to login tawai. Okay sir, okay.
जॉन साहब,
जी सर.
हाँ सर, डॉक्टर साहब आए हैं, डॉक्टर साहब ने कनेक्ट किया है.
बहुत अच्छा सर.
हाँ सर, वी आर वेटिंग फॉर प्रिंसिपल सर टू फॉर्मली इनॉग्रेट दिस वेबिनार इंशाल्लाह.
हाँ सर, और उसमें सर मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूं कि प्रिंसिपल साहब थोड़ा he is hard pressed for time, maybe he has to take a meeting at DCU office I guess today.
Okay.
In the event of if there's a meeting scheduled for him today, and he in fact told us yesterday that there may be a meeting scheduled. If at
Okay.
all the meeting is scheduled today, but we may get the principal later as well for
Yes.
inaugural.
Ah,
Because
yeah, it's no problem then, because he
chief
said
guest
in the meeting.
Dr. Saab is waiting.
Sir?
So I think we must start, and when the principal sir will come, we can start. We can stop, and we can media rest allow him to come in for the welcome address.
Yes sir, yes sir, that's fine then, that's fine. Okay sir.
Thank you.
So I think we will start. We'll ask Dr. Saab also. I will give him a ring. So in a couple of minutes we will start. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Uh, John sir,
Yeah, please, sir.
sir, I talked. Principal sir was calling. He told me that he will be here in just 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
Okay, sir.
So we will wait for principal sir, inshallah.
Mhm.
In 5 minutes time, he will be coming and he will formally inaugurate this, and then inshallah, Dr. Majid sir. Just 1 second, sir. He's calling again.
Okay, sir. So should we formally wait for the principal, sir, to uh, present the welcome address, or we will start?
Hello,
Hello, Iqbal sir.
John sir. Principal sir is coming.
Okay.
Minutes in 5 minutes, I think. So
Okay.
just start there, and when principal sir will join, he will address.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Good morning and Assalamu alaikum. We welcome you all to Government Degree College Pulwama, and we welcome you to webinar on COVID-19 and its impact on mental health of students, organized by Department of Computer Sciences and Debate and Seminar Committee of the college. And it's our pleasure to first of all announce that Department of Computer Sciences under the stewardship of Professor Asif Iqbal Kausa Sahab, Professor Farooq Ahmed Pandit Sahab, Professor Manan Gul, Professor Muhammad Iqbal Butt, and the Debate and Seminar Committee of the college worked in tandem to talk about and to seriously execute a kind of a praxis wherein the students will stand to gain. And before all this, we are so very thankful that Principal Sir Professor Farooq Ahmed Andrabi extended his gracious hands in making this seminar, this webinar a reality. Right from the day one and throughout the build-up of this workshop, he was with us, and he made it a point to take stock at every point as to how is the committee and the department going on about the different modalities of the webinar. And it was right in the first instance that Professor Asif Iqbal Kausa Sahab came up with the name that is the name to reckon with when it comes to the field of psychiatry and field of mental health. That is Dr. Abdul Majid Sahab. And Principal Sir, right at the time of hearing the name, said yes, because mental health is so very crucial in all times in the life. But when it comes to a pandemic or any crisis situation, the thing that takes the first bearing, rather an adversely affected thing that comes first to the mind is the mind itself. And mental health is of so very great importance in the times when there is trauma, when there is depression, when there is fear psychosis, when there is some inexplicable paranoia in the environment. And we are so very lucky, and we are so very proud, and it's our pleasure to announce to our participants and guests that we have been joined by Dr. Abdul Majid Saab, Senior Consultant Psychiatrist, currently working as Associate Professor, Sikkims Medical College, Srinagar, Honorary General Secretary, Indian Psychiatric Society North Zone, Honorary General Secretary, IAGMH, Director Council Member, Indian Psychiatric Society 2017-2020, Member, World Psychiatric Association, Addiction Psychiatry Section, WPA, International Fellowship, American Psychiatric Association, many national and international papers, including book chapters, presented research work in many national and international forums, has been collaborating research work with researchers of various prestigious institutions like Douglas University, Canada, PGI Chandigarh, AIMS New Delhi, and NIMHAS Bangalore. Recipient of National Award of Excellence in Mental Health, Glory of India Award, and Rashtriya Gaurav Award. I think all these things make us envious about Dr. Saab. And we are so very honored to have you with us. And I request Head Department of Computer Applications, Professor Asif Saab, to please present his views vis-a-vis the webinar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Professor Jan Mohammed, sir, convener debates and seminar committee, GDC Pulwama. Sir, I welcome again dear participants in this webinar, that is COVID-19 and impact on mental health of students. This webinar is a part of the online webinar series that our institution. Just a second, I have to receive a call from Dr. Principal, sir.
Hello. Hello.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam.
Hello. So we are fortunate enough that our principal sir have joined in, and as I told you that this is the part of the online webinar series that our institution is organizing from last few months. This webinar was also is also a part of that series, and our worthy principal sir agreed my suggestion that we will bring one psychiatrist for our students, so that this sort of stress we are under in this COVID-19, so that they will get some tips from the Dr. Saab. And we cannot deny over this e-system, that is e-learning system, to which students are, it's new to some students are already acquainted with these things, and now it has become very integral in education. We cannot deny that thing. But to keep this this thing or advance this latest and we have to take, apart from this thing, we have to take care of mental health also. So Department of Computer Science and Debates and Community collaborated to bring a special guest who's got specialization in this field, and his professional expertise has compelled us to request him from his busy schedule, as this time all the doctors was busy. But I personally thank Dr. Saab. He agreed our request, and he is present this time, and he will be deliberating on this and the mental health of our students. So without taking much of your time, I request our principal sir, worthy principal sir, formally so I will Professor Jan Saab, is principal sir there?
Yes, principal sir has joined in.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. May I know his ID so that you can?
Principal sir has actually, put on his videos, and you have to just unmute the audio, and under principal sir will get the Yeah, the idea that has to be there. He's there. He's showing up on the screen, Doctor.
I'm not getting his ID. The ID by which name he is, sir? Here?
Farooq Ahmed.
Yeah, yeah. I will be checking just a minute, sir. Yes, sir. Farooq Ahmed, I have.
Yes, yes.
Okay, sir.
Sir is there. Thank you.
John Saab, am I audible, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
Oh. Professor Dr. Abdul Majid Sahab, Associate Professor, Department of Psychiatry, Sher Kashmir Institute of Medical Sciences. Our Head Department of Computer Applications, Dr. Asif Iqbal Sahab, Professor John Sahab, Convener Debate and Seminar Committee, my student participants, and other participants who are with the program at this time. We have a very eminent and a renowned psychiatrist of the Valley who has earned a name and the fame. And he has joined our webinar today. Definitely, it is, I feel privileged when he is joining our program. And it is foremost requisite at this time because we are facing so much trauma, we are so much aftermath effects of this pandemic that is going on. And everybody is involved one way or the other way with the consequences of this pandemic. And the most thing that has been influenced, that has been affected by this pandemic is the brain. Perhaps everybody is. And how everybody will cope up this. The ill effects of this pandemic, everybody is trying it is utmost, but there will be any special things one has to adopt so that we may be safe, our surrounding people may be safe, and mostly the students at this time who are not coming out openly to the fields, who are not coming to the academic institutes, they have a very ill effect of this problem. At this time, definitely, when we have a very renowned and a valuable guest with us, he will give us definitely those suggestions with which everybody will be able to somehow, will not be affected, as we have a brain, as we have the emotions, everybody will be affected. But how we'll cope up those ill effects of this. He will give us the ways, the manner, and the suggestions. And so that our student, especially the student community, also the teachers at this time, how they will behave properly in facing the trauma of this pandemic. I will once again welcome you, sir, to my program on behalf of my college, on behalf of my fraternity, and on behalf of my students. Thank you for coming to this, joining this webinar today. I also welcome my teachers who are a part of this program and are fully associated with the program. And I also welcome the student participants who have to hear, who have to learn the good advices from our expert, who is a renowned psychiatrist of the valley. I don't want to take much of the time because we have a valuable points to learn from the valuable guest. And I welcome you once again to this program. Thank you for coming to this program. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. This was our worthy principal, GDC Pulwama. Thank you very much for your kind words, sir. Now, without wasting, as sir already told you, without wasting much of your time, so we will directly now switch over to our distinguished guest, Dr. Abdul Majid, sir. And Dr. Abdul Majid, sir, you are online. Kindly, you start.
Am I audible and visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Very good morning and assalamu alaikum, everybody. Thank you, Principal Sir, for kind words of introduction for me and Iqbal Saab and other people in the organizing panel and all the students and other respected teachers who are there. It's always a privilege to talk to the teaching fraternity, which I feel I also belong to you, and I am a teacher in a medical college. That's the only difference. You are in other degree college and I'm in a medical college. That's the only difference. So being a teacher, I love teaching the students, the people who are interested in listening to about psychiatry, about psychological health. And once we talk about psychological health, as at the first instance, Iqbal Saab was saying, anything which comes to the mind once it is disasters, it is devastation, it is the issues related to trauma that has been happening in this part of the world for almost now 30 years. Our place is suffering from natural as well as man-made disasters. So whenever anything comes to the mind is the mind itself. So we understand that the stress is something which is there for centuries together, that one would say that कि सदियों से stress होता आया है, चलता आया है, and the stress as such is part and parcel of life. You cannot live without stress. एक चीज कहेंगे कि अगर तनाव होगा तभी जिंदगी आगे बढ़ेगी. So but that is called positive stress. जो बच्चे इस प्रोग्राम में हैं, अगर आपका डेट शीट आता है 1 महीने 2 महीने पहले, तो you start preparing for your exams. तो वो एक स्ट्रेस जैसा बन जाता है. दैट स्ट्रेस एक्चुअली गेट्स मैक्सिमम आउट ऑफ यू, सो दैट जो आपका एक्चुअल पोटेंशियल होता है उसको वो निखारता है और उसका वो एग्जिबिशन कर बैठता है. सो दैट स्ट्रेस वी कॉल positive stress. But what we are talking here is about negative stress, which we know that negative stress actually can result in a lot of issues, be it physical, be it psychological, be it emotional. So these psychological issues actually can subsequently result in development of psychiatric disorders. So ye cheez kehte hue I would like to share my presentation. Asif Sab, I think there is some problem with your video. If you can just allow me to share my PPT at least.
Sir, I think you have to start your video,
I have already started it, boss. My video is on.
but it's not coming, sir. Just a minute, sir. Again, I will.
From my side, it is on.
Okay. Just let me check, sir. I will once again.
Till then, you can allow me to share the screen as well, because you have disabled the screen sharing.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah. Start my video.
So you can start your video.
I have done that. Let us hope it comes. There is some problem, probably some technical glitch. Asif Sab, my slides are on. You can see them.
Sir, your slides are visible, sir. Visible.
Yeah, there is some problem with your video, probably.
Yeah, I think now it's okay, sir.
And I request all people in the audience, don't mark the slides. If you don't like my picture, that's okay, but don't put a red mark on my picture. It's on a lighter note, not a serious warning from a teacher, because it distracts people from what is written underneath. So kindly don't mark the slides once I move the slides ahead, because inadvertently somebody has marked, so better not to mark them at all. So that's absolutely crystal clear to people. There is an option of taking a photograph of the slide. I will allow you to do that. There is no issue on that. Even if I don't allow you, I will not come to know whether you are doing it or not. So anyways, Asif Sahab, shall we go ahead? I think there is some issue with the video and people will be more interested listening and seeing what is on the slides rather than seeing my face.
Okay, sir. Your slides are visible.
I think I can go ahead, and they have seen my face on the photograph of the first slide. So I don't think they would like to see me again and again rather than my slides. So thank you very much. There are these technical glitches, I can understand. So it has given a bit of stress level. It has increased the adrenaline level in everybody around you that who are organizing this webinar. What has happened at the जैसे वाज तैयार स्यून त्रावनस आसान तो रिश्ते मशद गसान तुम गरम करने. So it is almost same that one of the dishes is missing. That is the video of this webinar. So anyways, we can do without it, and the technology has taught us that it doesn't matter as long as we are doing good work, and there are difficulties and technical issues everywhere. So we are discussing today, my dear friends, my dear teachers and respected principals, sir, the stress during COVID-19 lockdown. So stress we define as our mental, physical, emotional, and behavioral reactions to any perceived demands or threats. Demands and threats are two different things. So I have chosen my words of the definition very carefully. So it's our mental reaction, हमारी जहन की जो reaction होती है, हमारी body की physical reaction, हमारे इमोशंस की, हमारी जज्बात की रिएक्शंस, हम कैसे रिएक्ट करेंगे कि जज्बाती तौर पे, एंड द बिहेवियरल रिएक्शंस, हमारा रवैया कैसा होगा जब हमें कोई डिमांड होगी या कोई थ्रेट होगी या खौफ होगा. डिमांड, जैसे मैंने कहा कि अगर आपके एग्जाम्स हैं, demands could be normal, which could be a routine of life, right? So demand could be an exam that is that you are appearing in shortly. Demand could be anything which is a routine part of life, and this demand could turn out to be a, God forbid, a threat at times. And many children I see that they shun their exams a day before. They feel that they cannot appear in the exams at all, although they are very well prepared, but they still feel that they are not confident enough. And let me tell my all students in the panel, and teachers would agree with me, principal sir would agree with me, that we have suffered from the same, whether we had our matriculation exam, we had our 12th exam, I had my MBBS exams all through, I had my MD exams, then I had my PSC, and then I had my selection for faculty in schemes. So it is a stress, it's a demand that I have to meet. The interview dates come out, I start gearing up, pulling up my socks and giving my best. So my mental reactions are there. I want to be very focused and concentrated. My physical body reacts to it. I want to be very much into it. Emotionally, I am very much linked to it. And mera ravia bhi change ho jata hai, that I want to be very, very, that time, once I'm appearing in the interview, I want to be very, very, that way, candid and very humble, so that it does not irritate the examiners. Again, requesting you all friends that you can take a picture from your mobile phones, from your laptops, rather than marking my slides. So again, please I request you. So what are the types of stress actually? So the number one type of stress is the simple stress from one overwhelming traumatic event. That is, God forbid, somebody has died in the family. Somebody has had an illness in the family. So Asif Saab knows that one of my close loved ones is not feeling well for last 1 month or so, and I had hardly to spare time for this webinar because I had committed to it. And I always love to interact with my student fellows, with my teachers, and with faculties from other places. So one is that you have a stress at home, your father or mother or loved one is very sick, and you apprehend that, God forbid, anytime anything can happen. Second is that there is a death of a loved one, and people take it, okay, Allah Ta'ala ko karna tha, to destiny yahi hai, right? So kullu nafsun za'iqatul maut, we talk about it. So, but this is a trauma, of course, and it stays there. Normally शेष त्रदो या चोर दो करा पक्ष ऐसे सरी वहाँ ऐसे दिल बहर वो हमारे पास आते हैं. They pat our back and they share the memories of the dead one, the loved one with us, and we feel okay, he is still alive in the minds of the people, and we share his memories, we share his things, and फिर वो ऐसे चीज करता था. But it lasts for longer time in some families, 15 दिन भी, 20 दिन भी, महीना भी, साल भर भी, और कभी कभार खुदा न खास्ता अगर ये एक्सीडेंटल डेथ हुई हो तो बहुत ज्यादा टाइम तक इसका रहता है, या खासकर जवान लड़का या लड़की या रिसेंटली मैरिड. सो तो उनमें से ज्यादा होता है, या अगर इवन बुजुर्ग भी हों या एज में ज्यादा भी हों, लेकिन he was the only bread earner and only caretaker of the family, his loss is really it has a long lasting impact. So this is a simple stress, but type 2 is a complex stress, and that is like when you have, God forbid, like जैसे हमने देखा है कि जैसे पिछले 30 साल से जो हालात चल रहे हैं जिसकी वजह से इतने लोग यहाँ पे जिनकी मौत हुई है, शहीद हो गए हैं, द पीपल आर डाइंग एंड पीपल आर गेटिंग इंजर्ड, people have received pellet injuries in their eyes, some of them have been amputated, and we see them in our clinics, not all of them, but many of them we have seen after undergoing through the trauma. जिसकी तो मौत हो गई वो बेचारा तो अल्लाह के हवाले चला गया, लेकिन जो बाकी सर्वाइवर्स होते हैं इन families के, they really have a troublesome time all through, and they remember their loved ones. चाहे दुनिया भूल जाए, वो अपनी families, अपने बच्चों को नहीं भूल सकते हैं. So there has been a fear and helplessness all the way through last 30 years with waxing and waning stress levels. At the same time, we have seen the devastating earthquake in the form of natural disaster, particularly in North Kashmir, that hit Udi, Tangdar. If the teachers might be very well aware of that, students maybe they might have been in their primary schools those days. So if you remember, you have heard from your people that there was a devastating earthquake which devastated the property, which killed many people, rendered many people handicapped. So then we had 2014 floods, which we are all, the current generation is witness to. It devastated South Kashmir, Central Kashmir, then the North Kashmir, and it had really bad impact on almost everything. So these are complex, and COVID, of course, comes into it. So COVID belongs to this place where you have very complex. Complex means where you have multifaceted, long-lasting, severe impact of any trauma. Asif Sab, you will just intimate me on my phone if there is any disconnect or if there is any issue with my presentation. I am not audible or the slides are not moving. Kindly WhatsApp me or just call me.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
So normally
it's working fine, sir.
Okay.
Except your video is not coming.
I don't know. It's okay. I think शायद ऊपर वाले को पसंद नहीं है मेरा वीडियो, तो रहने दे, कोई इशू नहीं है. I think people will be more interested in listening and watching what is on the slides. I think it's okay. It's okay from my side. So what has COVID done to us actually? Normally they say that it's a pandemic, and for a mental health professional like me, it's not a pandemic only. It's a novel disaster. Novel means new. Why is it new? Because जैसे मैंने आपको मिसाल दे दी कि यहाँ पे सैलाब भी आ गया, यहाँ पे 30 साल से बहुत ज़्यादा हालात ख़राब भी रहे हैं, यहाँ पे ज़लज़ले भी आए हैं, तो इतना डैमेज हुआ है. लेकिन इस बारी का जो दुश्मन है हमारा, that's an invisible enemy. It's an invisible virus which you cannot see. And they say, the scientists say that it's 1 gram of the virus which has devastated the whole world. You can understand. बेबसी का आलम इंसान का क्या है? The mighty Americans, so-called, the mighty Europeans are kneeling on the floors and they are absolutely helpless. हमारी तो बात ही नहीं है, इंडिया और साउथ ईस्ट एशिया की तो बात ही नहीं है, हमारी तो गिनती नहीं आती है उस हिसाब से. So it has been invisible enemy with a small dose of 1 gram which has devastated the whole world. And the important thing which I would like to share, which you might have also experienced. Normally, अगर कोई भी डिजास्टर होता है, चाहे हमने ये वाला 30 साल के हालात खराब देखे हैं, particularly जब हम साउथ कश्मीर की बात करते हैं, we understand our friends who are there, our relatives, all people, well-wishers there are suffering a lot particularly for last 5 years, more than anybody else in Kashmir. So नॉर्मली यू गेट हेल्प फ्रॉम पीपल. अगर किसी की डेथ होती है, कोई जख्मी होता है, कोई फ्लड में बेचारा किसी का मकान दह जाता है, तो नॉर्मली अदर पीपल कम टू हेल्प. बट दिस कोविड हैज डिफरेंट कम टू अस. तो यहाँ पे जो हमारे दोस्त लोग हैं, फैमिली लोग हैं, जो मैंने देखा है मेरे हॉस्पिटल में, विच इज अ कोविड हॉस्पिटल, एंड हार्डली कम्स एंड सीज देयर इवन. That's the most unfortunate part. तो अल्लाह ताला की एक आजमाइश भी है कि ये ऐसे हालात खड़ा कर दिए, आपको अकेले कठेरी में भर दिया. So you are all alone fighting this disease. This is the worst part of it to me as a psychiatrist. That's why I feel that अभी तो नहीं, शायद आगे particularly हम जब बात करेंगे, ये बेचारा अकेले में इत पे कशिर पचेस वना रोज माशरस मन कुनी जुन जवाब दुन. It's almost the same state for a person who is diagnosed with COVID and who is admitted in the hospital. So because for him, there are no friends, there are no family members, there are no neighbors visiting him for help. So that's the most horrible part of this disaster, which I see from mental health perspective. So another important thing is that there is no safe place in the world at this point of time. अगर इस सैलाब ते पाओ याद, अगर इस बिन लुक ते पाओ याद, ये हालात ते और योर आसा और लोग चिका या इवन ड्यूरिंग जब जलजला हो गया, नॉर्थ कश्मीर वाले बेचारे श्रीनगर आ गए या जम्मू चले गए. इवन जब हालात यहाँ पे खराब होते हैं तो लोग जम्मू दिल्ली चले जाते हैं. बट देयर इज नो प्लेस राइट नाउ टू सेव योरसेल्व्स. यू कैन नॉट गो एनीवेयर राइट नाउ. आप यूरोप, आज तो सारी दुनिया इसी परेशानी में पड़ी हुई है. सो अदर डिजास्टर्स में यू कैन फाइंड अ सेफ प्लेस, बट इन दिस डिजास्टर यू कैन नॉट फाइंड अ सेफ प्लेस इन द वर्ल्ड. All the flights you can imagine are completely. So then apparently आपको लग रहा है कि there is no damage on the surface. जैसे मैंने कहा कि अगर बिनुल छीवा या अगर सलाब आओ एमसी वुचान इस प्रॉपर्टी शमाकलियम सड़क शमाकलियम से बिल्डिंग शमाकलियम से बिजनेसेस यम बिचारी सहलाबस मज लाल चौक या बाकी साउथ कश्मीरस मज दुकान दे वर डिवास्टेटेड. तिमन बिचारन उस मलबे योत पत कड़न से मटेरियल खत्म गोमुत. इस कोविड-19 ने ऐसा कुछ नहीं किया. बट लेट मी टेल यू, the economy is in shambles, that you can see with the GDP all around the world, and particularly about India, which was dreaming of becoming a 5 trillion economy. The dreams are completely down and dusted. So you can understand the devastation that has been caused by this COVID-19. Despite we don't see any devastation on surface of the earth, but it has eroded us from inside out. So second important thing is the fear of the disease and fear of losing loved ones or having them ill and getting them admitted and absolutely being helpless to help them at all. Then you had problems like quarantine. अब बाहर से आगे आपको गवर्नमेंट अकोमोडेशन में या अपनी अकोमोडेशन में या हॉस्पिटल में रहना पड़ा, और वो भी अकेले. द फादर वाज समवेयर एल्स एंड द मदर वाज समवेयर एल्स. बच्चा बेचारा कहीं और था. सो और एक चीज जो देखने को मिली, which is different from other disasters, was the stigmatization of individuals. किसी को COVID हो गया, although it has gone down over the period of 6 months now, but it has been there, it had been there all through, कि लोग जो कोविड से जूझ रहे थे है अपर नसन नेरोन की महल मज गसन की इनिशियली या युथी इवन ये आज ज़केस ते जेएंड केस में यवान त्रेकेस ते कशीर में यवान everybody would be afraid. Now even 500 1500 cases come. Today we have around almost 1 lakh cases since yesterday in India. But people have started although not everyone, but most of the people have started their routine activities. So stigmatization was earlier much, and you remember that how the particular sects and particular jamaats were targeted by the unfortunate some very, very ill mindset people, sect of medias, and that was very, very unfortunate. So that actually उसकी वजह से क्या हो गया कि जब आप स्टिग्मेटाइज करते हैं किसी भी चीज को, चाहे मेंटल हेल्थ को करेंगे या कोविड को करेंगे, तो लोग आपके सामने नहीं आएंगे ट्रीटमेंट के लिए. उससे क्या हो गया, जब आपने टारगेट किया उनको, वो आगे नहीं आए, तो वो बेचारे अगर घर में ही रहे या डर के मारे कि हमें फेसबुक पे या व्हाट्सएप पे चढ़ाया जाएगा, ग्रुप्स में डाला जाएगा इसको कोविड है, which was none of his faults, because you understand nobody gets a disease by choice. It's by chance that somebody gets a disease. आप जहाज में ट्रैवल कर रहे थे, किसको पता है किसी और को कोविड है. So it's by chance that you are getting a disease. So we have to look into it like that only, rather than कि किसी की choice है कि मुझे ये disease लग जाए. Then you had a subsequent lockdown, which is still continuing, and we understand there is academic paralysis. Since I am talking to teaching fraternity, I am talking to students. So this is an important aspect कि जहाँ पे academics हमारा बिल्कुल paralyzed होके रह गया. Although there is always an innovation once you talk about the pandemics. I see as a mental health professional, whenever there is any calamity, whenever there is any disaster, it gives you an opportunity to get into new ways of doing things. Like we have this webinar. Normally, hardly, I don't think I have ever visited a degree college, Pulwama. ever. So we have been at least in touch, and I can see around 100 participants right now. So at least from a distance, we can talk to 100 people, we can interact with them. So although there has been complete academic paralysis of all the educational institutions, I would say across the world. सो नॉर्मली हम कहते थे कि सिर्फ कश्मीर में हालात खराब है, कभी 4 महीने बंद होता है, कभी 5 महीने बंद होता है. तो इस टाइम दिस इज एन यूनिवर्सल फिनोमेना व्हिच हैज इम्पैक्टेड द होल वर्ल्ड एक्चुअली. सो हमारा जो मोस्टली जो इकोनॉमी था वो बिजनेस पे था, टूरिज्म पे था. सो दैट इज कंप्लीटली डिवास्टेटेड. देयर इज एन इकोनॉमिक डिवास्टेशन. इन फैक्ट वी आर
Doctor? Hello? I think Dr. Saab has lost the connection, internet connection. I request you all just wait for a few minutes so that I can inform Dr. Saab.
Yeah, I think I got disconnected in between. I'm back. I'm audible now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir. You're
some
audible now.
connection issue. Yeah, fine.
There is a
So
connection issue.
the health infrastructure तो मेरे ख्याल में अमेरिका तो अपने आप अपने हेल्थ स्ट्रक्चर पे, यूरोप अपने हेल्थ स्ट्रक्चर पे नाज कर रहा था, लेकिन बेचारे उन्होंने घुटने टेके. तो हमारी तो बात ही नहीं, हिंदुस्तान की तो, इंडिया की तो पोल ही खोल गई, तो कश्मीर की तो बात ही नहीं. आवर हेल्थ स्ट्रक्चर ऑल्दो इज मच स्ट्रॉन्गर than other states. We are among first 10 states to have a good health infrastructure. We have to some extent done well, I would say. I would applaud my all doctors who are working directly or indirectly, all the staff, even all the departments across Kashmir who have contributed. That would include the teaching staff from different places, to education department and higher education department as well. So stress can have a fight or a flight response. अगर आपको stress आ गया, परेशानी आ गई, तनाव आ गया, या तो आप लड़ाई करेंगे, इसके साथ जुद्दोजहद करेंगे, अपने आप को बचाने की कोशिश करेंगे, या भाग जाएंगे. So there are two choices with every individual once it comes to stress. Either fight it out and डर के आगे जीत है जिसको कहते हैं. You fight it out and you are afraid in between, but you go ahead and you fight it out and you are successful. Or else अगर आपको लगा कि बहुत ज्यादा खतरा है, फिर आप भाग जाएंगे. That is what are the two main responses once it comes to stress. Then you have a state of freeze or learned helplessness. Yuthi basan chupat ki wan kya wanche hishi katha. You go muchus to go wanchu. It's not, nothing is up to me and I'm absolutely helpless. Jaise ye wrath of Almighty one would say कि इस धरती पे आ गई हमारे, तो कश्मीर में बहुत टाइम से ही चल रहा था. तो this was an added on issue. Ashtu basan wan hishi katha. Ashtu em khot wari azad wushmut ki ashtu wan tut fikri khasai em cheez ke hinten. So who are the people who were more vulnerable? So as per the data, the children, especially the adolescents, that means including you, young adults and adolescents who are on the panel, who are the students in different these colleges, they are vulnerable. Elderly people, we know everybody talks about elderly people because उनकी जो जिस्मानी ज़हनी साख्त होती है आहिस्ता आहिस्ता कमज़ोर हो जाती है, उनकी इम्यूनिटी कम हो जाती है. तो अगर उनको वायरल इन्फेक्शन होता है, तो अगर कोई अंडरलाइंग तकलीफ है उनको, लाइक एल्डरलीज में हमने नॉर्मली देखा है कि ऑन एन एवरेज around 50% people have diabetes, they have hypertension, they have chest problems, they have cardiac problems. So their problems can get aggravated because of this COVID infection. That is how they are at high risk. Then females, especially the pregnant females or the lactating females, जब कोविड है तो उनको बेचारों को पहले ही जब कोविड टेस्ट करा था, दैट इज वन स्ट्रेस. अगर मुझे कोविड पॉजिटिव आया, अकेले में कहीं कोविड हॉस्पिटल में रहना पड़ेगा. अगर फॉर्चुनेटली नेगेटिव आया तो मेरे घर वाले सब साथ होंगे once it comes to my delivery. So a lot of stress to this population. Then people who are medically ill, मैंने देखा है, I've experienced it myself personally as well, having my loved one suffering from malignancy stage 4, who needed chemotherapy, who needed repeated investigations, but unfortunately for the fear of COVID I could not take him to hospital. मैंने सोचा कि ऐसे तो बेचारे के 10 दिन या महीना या साल निकलेगा, अगर कोविड लग गया तो फिर तो बड़ी मुश्किलात होगी पेशेंट के लिए भी और हम फैमिली और बाकी रिश्तेदारों के लिए भी. सो जिनको साइकेट्रिक इलनेसेस है उनको ज़्यादा इश्यूज हो गए, वो अपने डॉक्टर से कंसल्ट नहीं कर पाए, दवाइयाँ नहीं ले पाए. एंड दोज हु आर सेपरेटेड वंस, आई हैव सीन मेनी फैमिलीज हियर इन श्रीनगर पर्टिकुलरली, जिनके बच्चे बाहर थे वो नहीं आ पाए, सडन लॉकडाउन हो गया तो ये बेचारे इवन जो इनकी दवाइयाँ थी वो भी नहीं इनको पहुँच पाई, इनका खाना पीना एसेंशियल कमोडिटीज़ थी वो भी नहीं पहुँच पाई. But although government did its bit to some extent that they facilitated the essential supplies to these vulnerable populations. So what are the major stresses that we have seen during this turmoil, this lockdown, is the academic increasing academic pressure. We understand that कि ऐसे तो कोई academic pressure नहीं था, लेकिन in the back of your mind, and now you know that university is going to conduct exams, board is going to conduct exams, although we hardly had any days of academics in our schools and colleges. That means there was back of mind कि exam तो होने ही न होने हैं, कोई university वाले ऐसे ही सब लोगों को admission नहीं दे देंगे PG में. So you need to have exams. That means there was already an academic pressure building up. Then God forbid अगर कोई घर में conflict है, चाहे बच्चों का आपस में है या parents का है, उसकी वजह से stress हो सकता है, या peer group या romantic कोई relationship था उसमें कोई issue हो गया, या कोई और death family में हो गई, particularly अगर COVID related death थी या even non COVID death थी. जैसे मैंने कहा कि normally people would come and console you, give a pat on your back, लेकिन इस हालात में, इन हालात में डेथ होना, जनरली कोई भी डेथ होना और पर्टिकुलरली कोविड रिलेटेड डेथ होना आपकी फैमिली में, इट्स अ बिग मेरे ख्याल में इट्स अ बिग जोल्ट टू द फैमिली, बिकॉज पीपल आर अफ्रेड ऑफ कमिंग टू योर डोर स्टेप टू हेल्प यू. इवन बेचारे को जो कोविड रिलेटेड डेथ होती है उनको डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट की अलग टीम दफनाती है. सो आपका जो ग्रीफ प्रोसेस है, यु सोन मातम छासान सु अड़वती रोजान सु फुलफिल गसान कहीं तन, तिकाज हेकान दफन पन लाउड वन कहीं से कब्र मज हेकान त्रवित कहीं इनफैक्ट 5 दुई लगान पाई कि कब्र कत. So this is lot happening in this COVID. That if you have, God forbid, you need a surgical intervention of your loved one, or you had moved to another city and you have not been able to come back, and there are many instances that we are right now seeing that our parents and who were working particularly in private establishments, they have lost their job. Our kids have lost their job. There has been a huge change in the income of most of the people. So I'd be in fact sharing a questionnaire with Asif Saab that will tell us the impact of COVID. I urge all the participants to go for the online filling of that form and give me responses so that we can have credible data. So what's the response to the stress? Asif Saab, you let me know when I am supposed to finish. Let me know 10 minutes before so that I accordingly manage my presentation.
Yes, sir. We are having only your presentation today.
Okay, so I can take liberty of, I don't think I will have more than 15 minutes to 18 minutes now on. So okay. I'll be finishing most likely 18 to 20 minutes maximum. So okay. The physical response of the stress is pounding heart, yat kashir pet heart chalun chwana. Tentatively, temporarily blood pressure te khasa, athan ch ërख यिवान. तो थयो याद कि युथि अस एग्जाम ओस पन्ने वक्त आसान या स्टूडेंटन च एग्जाम तैयारी सपदावान. सो स्वेटी पाम्स तो युथि अस एग्जाम सेंटरस मज आसने खतर तैयार यिवान, घर अस नेरान. टाइटनेस ऑफ चेस्ट आपको हो there are aches and pains, आपको सर भारी लग रहा है, आपको chest pain लग रही है. Many people in fact have to go to washroom for urination or even defecation before this, so you can have abdominal cramps. nausea जैसा होता है, आधे बच्चों को मैंने vomiting भी करते हुए देखा है. थरथराहट छ आसान, even paper छ आसान, अथस में थरथर छ आसान, ये पोरमुत छ आसान, वांगस्ती यून. You have sleep disturbances before one night and you feel that mission निंद्र वहाँ सही के बहुत थके थके लगते हैं, मुंश बासा फीवर तजन खोते हैं टेंशन से. You get easily startled, मतलब अगर निब्रिकिन ठुक तुश बासा या टास तुश कसा हबत तुश कसा. And most common जो symptom है physical response है stress का, वो है forgetfulness. आपको भूल जाता है. अश बासा कि अश सोरे पुरमत मगर अजन बासा मुश्किल गुमत अशने चुन की याद ही हुए. So that's one of the most common symptoms, which is a very common thing and which is not really true, because stress के वक्त आपको कुछ नहीं याद रहता है stress के अलावा. So once the paper comes in front of you, all the teachers would agree with me, you almost concentrate only on those 5 questions. लेकिन जब आप पेपर देने से पहले, चाहे 10 दिन पहले, 5 दिन पहले, 1 दिन पहले, आप सारी बुक पे फोकस करते हैं. लेकिन जब आप एग्जामिनेशन हॉल में जाते हैं, आप सिर्फ उन 8-10 क्वेश्चंस पे फोकस करते हैं. तभी आपको 8-10 में से अगर 10 ही 10 नहीं आएंगे, लेकिन 5-6 तो आने ही आने हैं. So forgetfulness is just temporary. Once you focus on only 8 to 10 questions, your most of the memory is back, your stress is down, and you start writing. Then you have a behavioral response. कभी कभार ऐसा होता है कि अगर स्ट्रेस ज़्यादा हो गया तो आप विड्रॉ करते हैं. कभी कभार खुदा न खास्ता कई दवाइयों का लोग बच्चे इस्तेमाल करते हैं कि मुझे नींद नहीं आती, मैं दवाई ले लूँगा. या कभी बहुत खाना पीना ही छोड़ देते हैं, या गॉड फॉरबिड बाइक पे चले गए या गाड़ी ले ली तो खुदा न खास्ता एक्सीडेंट होने का चांस है, क्योंकि कंसंट्रेशन और अटेंशन बराबर नहीं रहता है. Then you become very impatient, aggressive and compulsive. Kamras muz or yor karan, gara hyor wasan, gara bon khasan, gara tresh chawan. So you work for longer hours and take no breaks, and you always go to work and work and work. Then what's the mental response? Ashubasa Zamagzan race Kara, Shuzan Sala, Munchbasa, it's being absolutely blank. Zanuki Damagismas, may what very paraya, may what ret paraya, particular subject, chapter votum haft paraya, may damagismas. So you are not actually able to switch off. Your self-esteem, your confidence goes down. There's a diminished sense of meaning of life. Once you feel gasni. So these are the thoughts coming to your mind. You have disorganized thoughts, you have lack of control, or you are not able to control your negative thoughts, negative statements. You have difficulty in making decisions, and you have loss of perspective. So then you have emotional response. That is, you become irritable, you become angry, depressed thoda ho jate hain, manch udas gasa. In fact, we feel jealous also कि हमें शोरी में कुर तेमिस टेलीफोन तेम सारी किताब मकलमस पढ़ित तेमिस प्रसे में 5 सवाल तेमिस द्राय 5 वमस 5 एमिशन उमस 5 वमस रति याद गसन की. You become restless after that, you become really anxious, you become hyper alert, and you feel guilty also. यार अगर मैं पुरमुत आशे बेशियर तन अलावा आसा खबर कहते. So at times panic can be there, mood swings can be there, and you feel you as if you are going to cry. But let me tell you, my dear friends, that it's not all about stress we are talking. There are a lot of people who have faced it earlier. खासकर अगर हम कश्मीर की बात करेंगे, for last 30 years we are seeing ups and downs, we are seeing bumpy roads, we are seeing deaths and devastations, but we have stood up as Kashmiris. We have learned what, and we have, I think, showed it to the world what resilience means, what coping means. हम कैसे इसके साथ मुकाबला पिछले 30 साल से कर रहे हैं, और जो हमारे पुरख हैं, हमारे जो पुराने लोग थे, वो कैसे अपनी अपनी मुश्किलात से वो का सामना करते थे. If you the people who are more than 50 years of age, they would agree with me. Sain waqt asna bas hai im school ta asnewa. Even I have traveled myself almost 5 kilometers every day to and fro to reach my school, and yim sain father ya forefathers to manas bicharan 30 kilometer 40 kilometer pe awan paidal pakan. So that is not the scenario now. So wo us time ka stress tha, books nahi milti thi, गाड़ी नहीं मिलती थी, स्कूल जाना बहुत दुश्वार था. अब तो स्कूल आपके सामने है, घर के सामने आपके लैपटॉप पे है, लेकिन बाकी stresses आ गए हैं. So there are 3 levels of stress. Level how you can manage it, because ultimately it comes to that. हमने तो stress की बात की, ये symptoms हैं, लेकिन इनको कैसे counter किया जाए? So number 1, level 1 is that you can maintain yourself in a relaxed manner. How will we do that? I will tell you about it. We have level 2. Once you feel, despite the relaxation things you have opted for, they are not helping you, I think you need some more. That is level 2. Then level 3, अगर आपने उस चीज से भी कुछ नहीं हो गया, then you feel that you are burnt out and neither your family nor your friends nor your own techniques are helping you. I think you need to see a mental health professional, be it counselor, be it clinical psychologist, be it a psychiatrist. So what is the level 1? Level 1 mein lifestyle management. So maintain your balance between work and leisure time. ऐसा कर दीजिए even exam के days में भी. That is what I have been doing all through. I would study for 6 to 8 hours, then in between, अब 2 घंटे के बाद, 2.5 घंटे के बाद, I would take half an hour off and go down and have water and have talk with my family, have talk with my friends, and then start again. And normally people, once they read, they put on notes and वो note कर लेते हैं मैंने क्या क्या important चीज पढ़ी, और 5-10 मिनट में वो फिर से revise कर देते हैं. Then exercise please regularly. इस दफा है exams में कुछ time to doctor साहब शुक्र इस वना when we have exercise. Exercise doesn't mean that you will spend whole day on exercise. अगर तो 15 मिनट सुबह schedule, 15 मिनट शाम schedule, that is enough. Second is that कि कशिर पे ना करने की स्ट्रैटेजी थी वनान छ सो गो मैंने सुन डॉक्टर साहब वनान सुन जिम की ही याल वनान सुन नेबर हेकान गस्ती अत छु कोविड. You can do it at your home. अगर सहन छु गरस में नॉर्मली आसनी आसे अश टेरेस या छत आसनी या हॉल छु बोर्ड आसा, you can go even on the road. You can put on a mask and 10-15 मिनट 20 मिनट वॉक के लिए सवेरे जाइए. दिन को अगर आप फटीग लग रहे हैं दिन को जाइए, शाम को जाइए. So they maintain a balanced diet. I would tell you in a future slide what is balanced diet. So maintain a good support network. That means you talk to your friends, you talk to your family members, चाहे वो कश्मीर में हो, इंडिया में हो या abroad हो, उनके साथ बनाए रहे. So lifestyle management बहुत important है. Become your own expert. क्योंकि हमें पता है कि हर घर में डॉक्टर नहीं है, हर घर में मेडिकल प्रोफेशनल नहीं है. So identify where the stress is coming from. We know that exam is the stress for everybody, but at the same time we need to understand that everybody has coped with these things. People have done PhD, people have done doctorates, people have become scientists, people have done wonderful things in the world. So how did they do it? We need to learn from them. We need to read their stories. How to go for effective coping strategies. Normally, badqismati san, our students and our adolescents, what they do is that they find an easy way to tackle a problem. Sari khud asan wat kush. Magar they don't find a right way to tackle a problem. So we need to empower our children and students to find the right way. So go it's quite farak to when you go right way to easy way go kunsach tension khasan ti pareshani ti watha so should dawa falhana niwakiyat ya chu slate niwakiyat ya badal cheez khuda na khas baki manshiatun hund istemal kara. That's an easy way of coping. Them so stress jaldi gasan khatam. But that is not the right way of doing things. So right way of doing things is talk to your elders, talk to your family members, talk to your friends, talk to your seniors in college and schools, talk to your teachers that I am facing this difficulty. So try anticipating when stressful period, खास करी या दौरान के अशपता के अगर गरस मस का बीमार गो COVID time and मंज या pregnant lady या कंस को खुदा रिशन accident, we need to keep the phone number of the खास कर अगर doctor सुन mail की ही use nearby chemist आस तासुन phone number पे था उन असमा पे fathers या बच्चस खुदा न खास येम दाव हुक ज़रूरत येम drip ज़रूरत हस्पताल निनुक ज़रूरत ऐसा ये अस कित पेट गइस गार्डन इंतजाम कुछ hospital safe. So you anticipate how we can cope up with stress. That we know, Kashmiris know for last almost 30 years कि जब हालात खराब होते हैं तो we manage it better than anybody else. So managing your personal work environment, I will tell you all my student friends or my adolescent boys and girls here that please make a schedule which is very healthy. So what you do is that once you get up in the morning, make a sleep schedule of 7 to 8 hours maximum और अपने टाइम पे सोइए, अपने टाइम पे जागिए. अगर आप शाम को 10-11 बजे सोते हैं, सवेरे आप नमाज के टाइम उठते हैं, फिर आप अपना ब्रेकफास्ट लेते हैं. You study for 2-3 hours in the morning because that's a very, very fresh time you can study. You can have lunch with your family. There is no issue. Under same roof, you can have lunch. You can have even, मैं कहूँगा कि normally आपने सुना होगा PPE, पर्सनल प्रोटेक्टिव इक्विपमेंट, डॉक्टर्स को होता है, पैरामेडिकल स्टाफ को होता है, या जब फ्रंट लाइन हमारे कोविड वर्कर्स हैं, पीपीई। लेकिन हमारे घर के लिए पीपीई क्या है? एक तो प्रेयर्स हैं, प्ले टुगेदर, important, then exercise, then eat together. So this is PPE for us at home. Then you can have tea with your family, exercise, I said, and study more for a couple of hours, and then be in prayers and have dinner together, and then sleep as well. Then change your thinking skills. They say that यार सारी डॉक्टर वना पॉजिटिवली सोच, मैंने शुन पॉजिटिव सोची है, मैं शुन नेगेटिव सोची है दिवा। सी पहले जो हालात हमारे थे, जब कोविड 2-3 केस भी दिन को आते थे पूरे जम्मू कश्मीर में, कितनी परेशानी थी। सब कह रहे थे बस मूद वहाँ बच्चों ने इम्निश के सारी मारो। बट ओवर द पीरियड ऑफ टाइम ये अल्लाह ताला ने हमें कैपेबिलिटी दी है, अशरफुल मखलूक बनाया है। लक़द खलक़नल इंसान फ़ी अहसन तक़वीम, अल्लाह ताला ने हमें ऐसा स्टैचर दिया है, इस दुनिया में सबसे बढ़िया क्रिएशन बनाई है उनके हिसाब से, जो कुरान में लिखा हुआ है, जो कुरान की आयत है। सो वी हैव अ ब्रेन, वी हैव टू यूटिलाइज इट, and we have to think realistically rather than कि हत मन एकस डेथ गसान बित मार एमी सच। It is not there. So there are people who are vulnerable. You have to take due care of them. Most of the youngsters are very safe. Nothing is going to happen to them unless they are very arrogant about it कि नहीं मुझे कुछ नहीं होता, बाज कोविड वार्ड्स में मास्क के बगैर, या बगस कोविड पेशेंट्स या कुंजाज कोविड फैमिली में बगस मास्क के बगैर तौर। So don't be arrogant about it. Think realistically. And important is that try to control things which you can. Don't control things which you cannot. For example, control things means क्या गो? इस करो मास्क यूं इस्तेमाल, इस करो सैनिटाइजर इस्तेमाल। SMS मैंने इसको नाम रखा है, सैनिटाइजर, मास्क एंड सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग। ये आप और मेरे तक है। SMS, सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग, मास्क एंड सैनिटाइजर, या हाथ साफ करना बार बार। तो ये SMS अगर हम करेंगे, ये हमारे कंट्रोल की बात है। लेकिन which is out of control, that means lockdown फुटराउन है। ये करज गछि लॉकडाउन, ये वायरस करज नेर कशीर मज, ये वायरस करज नेर दुनिया मज। ये तो अमेरिका को पता नहीं है, यूरोप का पता नहीं, हमें कैसे पता है? सो डोंट ट्राई टू कंट्रोल सिचुएशंस व्हिच आर आउट ऑफ योर कंट्रोल। या आप एग्जाम के लिए तैयार नहीं हुए, दपियो तो है ये एग्जाम गछ पाथ गसुन, सो गछ तुंद करने से पाथ के, दैट विल बी पोस्टपोन्ड बाय यूनिवर्सिटी और द कॉलेज, रेस्पेक्टिव कॉलेज। सो डोंट ट्राई टू कंट्रोल अ थिंग व्हिच इज बियॉन्ड योर कंट्रोल, and avoid jumping into the conclusions. पता है हुई मूद ना कोविड से 17-18 गए बीमार, या फैमिली मन सारी कोविड। Please don't spread any message regarding this thing, because तो आसवी जिगर मजबूत, इस करो ये ऐसा ही बर्दाश्त के। अगर अत मुतलिक या हम कभी ऐसे वीडियोस भी शेयर करते हैं यत मज दम एक इंसानस गोमुत, अजीब हालत गमस, वीडियो शेयर करा कहाँ बिचोर ग्रुपस मज युस युत बर्दाश्त कर। प्लीज डोंट सर्कुलेट सच वीडियोस एट ऑल। तो अगर इन चीजों से कुछ नहीं हुआ, तो जैसे मैंने कहा, लेवल 2 इज दैट you have to go for relaxation techniques, you have to go for breathing techniques, progressive muscle relaxation, which will be a job of a clinical psychologist. I said meditation, reciting holy books and prayers, exercise, regular walks, and gardening even is very, very helpful. Even as hako garken san ladke che bacche che father mother kitchens mans ya gardens mans kaam asa kara, we can help them. That way we will feel that we are very much productive, which is the important cheese. Yemuk mein nawon ago deep breathing exercises, them sich variya hada san stress ka san kam nastiki new jutsha, just stop it for 5 seconds, 5 सेकंड प्रोर पत्रो वापस। अगर तुम सुबह से 5-10 मिनट करियो, दोहल 5-10 मिनट करियो, शाम से 5 मिनट, just 10-15 minutes in a day total. Then progressive muscle relaxation, since I think my video is not working, unfortunately I would have shown it, but my video is not working, so I cannot display it on my this video. Then you have level 3 final. So when you feel burnt out, जब आपको लगता है कि इन चीज़ों से कुछ नहीं हुआ, मैं कर घर के सेहतिकात, मैं कर एक्सरसाइज थे, मैं कर बैलेंस्ड डाइट थे, मैं कर डीप ब्रीदिंग थे, मैं कर ऐसा ही मसल रिलैक्सेशन थे, then you can go for counseling. Contact your nearest counselor or a mental health facility where you have a counselor, you have a clinical psychologist, you have a psychiatrist. So many times ऐसा होता है कि हमारे कश्मीर के हवाले से बहुत ज़्यादा स्ट्रेस है, कभी बार इतना ज़्यादा स्ट्रेस होता है, खुदा न खास्ता साइकेट्रिक इश्यूज हैकन, एंग्जाइटी, डिप्रेसिव सिम्टम्स हैकन गसित, या सही है, डिप्रेसिव सिम्टम्स प्रेजेंट हो सकते हैं, दे कैन बी देयर, सो दे नीड टू बी एड्रेस्ड. Then we had to be very smart, and most of the people have been spending time on internet, my dear boys and girls. I think this is time to concentrate on our studies. Going on internet is okay, no problem, but don't spend extra time on internet. So put a screen time, ashusanian mobile nasa screen time, ki megusne allow screen gasun expose ki achan, nanan achan gas kharabi, meun damag concentration rois ne variya zyada fatigue ache. So these are the tips, and I have created a mnemonic for this thing for you to remember for all times to come. A, B, C, D, E, F. आपको simple language में, ताकि आपको सारे स्लाइड शायद याद ना रहें. Please don't mark the slide. My request again, आप screenshot ले लें, mark ना करें. Please and please. So let others see at least. मुझे तो कोई problem नहीं है. Let others sleep. Don't mark the slide. So आप अपनी साइकोलॉजिकल और बायोलॉजिकल इम्यूनिटी कैसे इंप्रूव करेंगे? अगर आप एडिक्वेट स्लीप करेंगे. क्योंकि जब भी कोई भी चीज काम में लग जाती है, चाहे हमारी गाड़ी हो, चाहे कोई भी चीज हो, हमारा दिमाग हो, इट नीड्स सम रेस्ट. क्योंकि अगर गाड़ी तेज पकनाउन दोहस पकनो, पत पकनाउन रात पत पकनाउन 3 दोहन कंटिन्यू, इसका इंजन भी जलने का चांस है, और वेयर एंड टीयर क्यों नॉर्मली अगर 10 वरी या 20 वरी गाड़ी नेरा अत नेरन 10 रेत कहीं. सो स्लीप इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. इट रिजेन्यूएट्स योर न्यूरॉन्स, वो आपको एनर्जी दे देता है. नेक्स्ट डे यू फील फ्रेश. तो ऐसा वुशमत की कभी कभार अगर नींद हमें नहीं आती, नेक्स्ट डे वी फील इरिटेबल, हमें थकावट होती है, हमें काम में जी नहीं लगता, हमें खाने में जी नहीं लगता, एंड वी फील sleepy all day. So adequate sleep के 7 to 8 घंटे को, न ज़्यादा न कम. Then second is balanced diet. Then you have connected. Balanced diet would mean, here I told you balanced diet go fiber zyada pahan. Normally asa we have lakcha kitchen garden asa fiber diet like hawk ya green leafy vegetables. Take them more. Sugar content gets come karun, since we are staying at home almost now for a year now. We have already completed a year of lockdown that way. So jo bhi fat contents hai, junk foods hai, wo meherbani karke avoid kar dijiye. Take lot of fluids. Then you get connected. See, is connected to your family, friends, and within. आज तो एक दूसरे के पास जा नहीं सकते, लेकिन टेलीफोन पे तो कर सकते हैं, व्हाट्सएप पे कर सकते हैं, फेसबुक पे we can get connected. Then finally, ये ऋषि मुनियों की धरती है, तो we can have obviously a very important aspect of our life is devotion to the Creator, Almighty, and Asab, yes, we'll take questions at the last. I'm just finishing in 5 minutes. So we can devote ourselves कि अल्लाह के रास्ते में जो भी सही काम हैं, जो भी समाजी काम हैं, जो भी social cause के काम हैं, we will be all, if we go into it, अक्षितम से पाना satisfaction का सा कि मैं अल्लाह ताला ने मुझे दुनिया में इस काबिल बनाया कि मैं एक तो अल्लाह ताला की इबादत तो करनी ही करनी है, दूसरा ये है कि लोगों की हेल्प करना सोशल काज में, इट गिव्स यू लॉट ऑफ सेटिस्फैक्शन एंड यूर वरी ऑटोमेटिकली गोज डाउन. यू फील कि अल्लाह ताला कर में तत्ते कबूल तो ये दियम जजा इंशाल्लाह. देन यू हैव एक्सरसाइज, मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग दैट आई सेड दैट कि आप अपने घर में अगर सीढ़ियां हैं ऊपर नीचे कर सकते हैं, हॉल में उधर इधर घूम सकते हैं, टेरेस पे आप कर सकते हैं, या you can play the indoor games like badminton, table tennis, अगर जिनकी ऐसी फैसिलिटीज हों वो कर सकते हैं. लेकिन अगर इन चीज़ों से आपको हेल्प नहीं होती है, so I told you again that F is finally is that you need to find a mental health professional's help. That could be a psychiatrist, that could be a psychologist, or that could be a counselor. So अगर आपने इन चीज़ों का पूरी तरह ख्याल नहीं रखा, तो फाइनली व्हाट विल हैपन, आप इतने मोटे हो जाएंगे तो आपको एग्जाम के लिए दरवाज़ा भी आपका खुलेगा नहीं, अगर खुलेगा तो आप बाहर नहीं आ पाएंगे. और सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग जैसे आप देख रहे हैं, 2 पेट मिल रहे हैं, इनके चेहरे बहुत बहुत दूर हैं, सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग सिर्फ ऊपर रहेगी, पेटों के दरमियान नहीं रहेगी. और फाइनली तो आप वंस लॉकडाउन इज ओवर, यू नॉर्मली जो बच्चे लोग हमारे हैं वो रिलिश करते हैं, कभी तुझ खेवा मंच बाकी चीज़ खेवा. सो अगर इतना मोटापा हो गया, यू विल नॉट बी एबल टू रिलिश ऑल दीज थिंग्स. So I thank you very much. I think we will take questions now. Asif Saab?
Yes, sir.
Anybody? I'll before I take questions, the last slide why I have displayed it is that there is email written down there There are many people who might have their loved ones who are suffering from psychiatric issues, psychological issues, or even the participants. Among participants, I hope none is there, but you never know कि किसके दिल में क्या है, किसके जहन में क्या है. अगर किसी को कोई personal confidential solution चाहिए या advice चाहिए, they can send an email to me. I will revert it back. That would be better. So, but if there are open questions in the forum, they are welcome. I am there to answer them. I'll be happy to try and answer to your satisfaction as much as I can.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much, Dr. Sab. Is Professor Jan Sab here? Professor Jan Sab, are you here?
Yeah, Doctor Sab, yes.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. You continue now, sir, for questions, please. Jan Sab, some students, some participants are asking, have posted some questions. Shall we
Yes,
take them, or we'll unmute the participant and they will ask themselves?
any participant, sir, who wants to unmute himself and then wants to ask a question can unmute himself and ask us to unmute. We can, and he can ask questions through audio means. But before that, sir, can we take some questions? Dr. Sab,
I'm open to everything. Please go ahead. It's your show. You can manage it. I'm there at the receiving end. No issues.
thank you, sir. Then we have to ensure that we are playing very good hosts at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. You can take liberties with me always. No problem.
Thank you, sir. Question is from Ghulam Qadir to everyone. How serious in this crisis for people with pre-existing mental illnesses, and what can they do to better cope up with the circumstances with this situation, and how serious is the crisis for the people with pre-existing illnesses?
Yeah, I think I mentioned in my presentation already that there is a vulnerable group that included, in fact, one of the, अगर आपको याद होगा एक स्लाइड पे था कि जो ऑलरेडी साइकाट्रिक इलनेस से जूझ रहे हैं, जिनको ऑलरेडी नफ्सियाती तकलीफ है या मेडिकल तकलीफ है, उनमें मैंने 2-3 चीज़ें देखी. ये कि या तो बेचारे वो डॉक्टर के पास ऑब्वियसली नहीं पहुंच सके, पर्टिकुलरली पहले 1-2 महीने का जो बहुत स्ट्रिक्ट लॉकडाउन था, गाड़ियाँ नहीं चल रही थी, बहुत सारे लोगों के पास अपनी गाड़ियाँ नहीं है, अपनी कन्वीनियंस नहीं है. सो आई अंडरस्टैंड दोज पीपल रियली हैड अ वेरी वेरी टफ टाइम. बट एक चीज़ मैं कहूँगा यहाँ पे आपको कि हमारे डिपार्टमेंट ने भी ये टेलीसाइकेट्री की एक लाइन करी थी. जो हमारा दूसरा मेडिकल कॉलेज का डिपार्टमेंट है वो तो ऐसे भी फिजिकली भी रन कर रहा, प्लस टेलीफोनिकली ऑल्सो दे वर हेल्पिंग पीपल. सो वी ट्राई टू हेल्प पीपल एज मच एज वी कैन. बट पर्सनली आई एम सेइंग कि मुझे उतना ज़्यादा टेलीसाइकेट्री का एक्सपीरियंस नहीं रहा सिंस आई एम वर्किंग इन अ कोविड हॉस्पिटल, और हमारा जो प्रेडोमिनेंटली जो काम था वो वहाँ पे था. सो आई कुड नॉट टेक कॉल्स फ्रॉम पीपल एट ऑल, हार्डली फेव कॉल्स जिनको ज़्यादा इमरजेंसी थी. एवरी डे आई वुड take 2-3 calls. So that way I have not been able to help, but my department has been able to help to a large extent to the people, चाहे वो substance abuse कर रहे थे या psychiatric illness से कह रहे थे. ये उनके लिए बहुत definitely, जैसे इन्होंने गुलाम कादिर साहब ने सवाल पूछा, very very interesting, and I think taken out of my ना जो मेरी book है उससे लिया हुआ कि people had a very tough time coming to our clinics and seeking our consultations. So definitely कि normally one patient doctor that is what happens once the patient reaches hospital. Half of his anxiety goes down because every illness is associated with anxiety. So in हालात में जब वो डॉक्टर को नहीं देख पाए, जब वो इन्वेस्टिगेशन नहीं करा पाए, जब उनको दवाइयाँ नहीं मिली, it has been a very very bad situation for every patient, be it a psychiatric patient, be it a non-psychiatric patient. So जहाँ पे क्राइसिस का सवाल है, लेकिन आहिस्ता आहिस्ता मैं बता दूं गुलाम कादिर साहब को कि मुझे बहुत सारे जो कलीग्स हैं जो विद इन इंडिया एंड आउटसाइड इंडिया हैं, तो वो कहते थे कश्मीर का क्या हाल है. इनफैक्ट माय एक्सपीरियंस इज दैट वी हैव कोप्ड much well than rest of the world, let me tell you, because lockdown at least is not something new for us. It is a phenomenon that has been happening for almost 30 years. Every other year 3-4 महीने 6 महीने का लॉकडाउन रहता था. So we normally would cope up with it. हम normally ज़खीरा करते हैं, अपने essential commodities को स्टोर रखते हैं, हम दवाइयों को स्टोर रखते हैं अपने बुजुर्गों के लिए, अपने बीमारों के लिए, हम अपने आप को प्लान करते हैं कि कैसे किस जगह पहुंचना है. So we already were in a mode, हमने वो already वो हमें मोड आ गया था कि हमें कैसे टैकल करना है. बट this was an additional stress in the form of the COVID कि हम एक दूसरे के पास नहीं पहुंच पाए, हम एक दूसरे की उस तरह से help नहीं कर पाए. So crisis situation was there, but I feel from my point of view, psychological point of view, stress has gone to a large extent. I think it is dissipated now. It is now very less as compared to what it was 3-4 months back. But stress remains there, particularly for the families who have suffered from COVID illness, unko stigma ho gaya, and particularly for families who have lost loved ones, वो अपने उन loved ones का उनका कफन दफन नहीं कर पाए, उनका जो grief था, उनका जो मातम था, वो नहीं कर पाए ठीक से. So we have to look for it, and most importantly, जो economic devastation होगी, चाहे वो कोई भी बिजनेसमैन हो, किसी भी सेक्टर से हो, टूरिज्म से हो, ट्रांसपोर्ट से हो, या बाकी दुकानदार हमारे जो हैं, बाकी जो लोग हैं, they are completely devastated. I understand the crisis is, it is absolutely illogical to say कि कोई crisis नहीं है. There is crisis, particularly for now. Economic crisis is coming on, and India is showing its colors as far as economy is concerned. So things are not pretty good, but for I would say that जो यहाँ पे employed class हैं, उनका the problem with them is much lesser than as compared to those who are working privately or who are into business and other these occupations. I hope I have answered the question. If there is some other question, you can.
Sir, Sayyid Tajamul Hussain has asked a question. It's more of a suggestion than a question, but he's asking that if we educated and literate persons get awareness related to combating mental illness due to COVID-19, why don't we give free advice to public about this mental health issue, and why don't we spread awareness about this COVID-19 crisis?
Who's the gentleman who has asked this question?
Sayyid Tajamul Hussain.
Sayyid Tajamul Saab, I would say that at my personal level, whatever I could do, despite being on COVID duties, despite attending patients in my hospital, and even at clinic later on in the evening, I would definitely tell you that we have been to a large extent been successful in dissipating the message. I have worked independently with a lot of media channels. I have worked with the district administration, the administration of Kashmir particularly. We had a lot of programs with your Directorate of School Education, with higher education as well. I personally had programs with University of Kashmir, Agriculture University. We had with Central University programs. I had with the Cluster University, I had programs. I had previously programs with the GDC, Anantnag, and now we are holding with this. And I have in future also in coming week around 3-4 programs, and it's an ongoing list of programs. We are trying our level best, but we understand that we need more efforts, and my colleagues otherwise also. I don't want to glorify myself at all. I'm just doing my bit. There are colleagues from other department, other professional colleagues across Jammu and Kashmir, and particularly Kashmir, who are doing a wonderful job, be it Dr. Arshad from the other department, be it other people who are always on media talking about mental health and talking about COVID. I think every one of us, I will tell you one thing here, Tajamul Saab, ke every one of us is a hero. Normally they say कि doctors जो काम करते हैं hospital में वो hero हैं. For me, no, not at all. They are not the only heroes. The policemen, the journalists, जो लोग भी काम करते हैं, even आप दूसरे के घर नहीं जाते हैं, आप भी हीरो हैं, क्योंकि आप समझते हैं कि अगर मैं दूसरे के घर गया, उनमें किसी को कोविड था, वो मैं अपने घर ले आऊंगा, या खुदा न खास्ता हमारे घर में किसी को है, मैं किसी के घर जाऊंगा, मैं अपने घर से ये कोविड दूसरी घर में ले जाऊंगा. मैं मास्क पहनता हूं, मैं सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग करता हूं, मैं सैनिटाइजर का यूज करता हूं, फ्रीक्वेंट हैंड वॉशिंग करता हूं. मैं अपने बुजुर्गों को घर में, अगर मैं बाहर जाता हूं, मैं तो स्ट्रांग हूं इम्यूनिटी वाइज, लेकिन मैं अपने बुजुर्ग को घर में बचाना चाहता हूं, और इन एहतियाती तदाबीर का पूरी तरह से उस पर अमल करता हूं. So you are a hero. So everybody, it should not be that the doctors, teachers, every one of us as a responsible citizen, as a responsible member of the society, can contribute in immense ways. I think all of us need to get together. जब एक ये पंजा होता है हमारा, इसमें 5 उंगलियां हैं, जब ये बंद हो जाती है तब मुट्ठी बन जाती है. So we are like that. We all need to get our act together so that we can work together for the betterment of getting this COVID out of this place, and obviously removing stigma from COVID as well as mental health issues.
Dr. Saab, thanks for asking
Yes,
a
sir.
question, but I request there are some participants who just, they mutilate the screen by way of writing here and there. I think you can test your skills outside as well, because this is not the platform where you can actually do it. And I am
This is
sure,
not a sickle, this is a demolition drive.
of course, you can test your mental skills outside, and whether you are a painter or but don't test it on us, please. I request you to please, if you are inadvertently doing these things, but you could just take some cautious steps, please. Now, sir, one more question. This Barina to everyone. Yes, sir, I just want to ask you a question that why does this happen that when we come outside, we wear mask and we have sanitizers in place, and still that we feel some sore throat or we feel some uneasiness. So why does this happen?
See, it's John Saab who has asked me the question. Am I correct? Yes. So you are
Barina
muted,
has
sir.
asked me a question. Barina.
Okay. So the important thing is that जब आप mask लगाते हैं, normally आपका air flow without mask बिल्कुल clear हो जाता है. Normally we doctors and जो paramedical staff हैं या front line पे हैं, जो हमारा तो सवेरे mask लगाना होता है, तकरीबन 9 बजे निकलते हैं mask और शाम को 9 बजे तक mask रहती है. I won't say every doctor, every paramedic, but those who are on duty. So उनकी हालत क्या बनी होगी फिर, और पीपी में लगाना, ऊपर से नीचे तक पूरा बदन ढक के होना. So you will have stuffiness in the nose, that is definitely there. अगर तुम कमरस मज शु बेहवा वंदस मज तथ आसना हवाच वेंटिलेशन और योर कहीं तन ठीक पे, या तुम शु कमरस मज वारियस टाइमस बेहवा, तुम कलस ते बासान बार, तुम बासान नस ते बंद, तुम बासान जुकाम ह्यू करुन. Same happens once you put a mask on your face, क्योंकि आपका जो वेंटिलेशन है, जो आपका एयर फ्लो है इन एंड आउट, that is not absolutely perfect, that's not normal. तो उसकी वजह से स्टफी नोज, उसकी वजह से दिमाग में कंजेशन हो जाता है, नाक में कंजेशन हो जाता है. Don't take it as COVID at all, because there are other flus right now happening. Let me tell you, in my family also, I was very worried since I have a very sick and ailing father at my home who is terminally ill. One of our children had flu and it spread to all of us, and literally we had to separate our father. But it came out to be a common flu finally. It was, we did a COVID test and nobody had a COVID actually at all. So you need to understand, every flu, every SARS and Zukam is not COVID. It could be a common flu. We common cold in Kashmir, Zukam, Nas Pashman, I says Bachpanas, even 6th, even 10th, Nas Pasma. That was never COVID those times. So never take any stuffy nose always as COVID. COVID is classical funny presentation of वारिया ज़्यादा सास करान, नस पचपन छात वारिया कम, वारिया ज़्यादा सास करान, बहुत ज़्यादा बुखार हो जाता है. Aches and pains are particularly very important. मतलब ना लाइफ टाइम एक्स पेन्स होती है, कभी आपने एक्सपीरियंस वैसा नहीं किया होगा. और इम्पॉर्टेंटली अगर सैचुरेशन कम हो जाती है, बट एवरी जुकाम एंड सास वी विल से दैट आज कोविड गुमत, ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं है. तो प्लीज एंड प्लीज, तभी मैंने कहा कि ओवर जनरलाइज मत करो, आप कंक्लूड मत करो कि मैं थोड़ा जुकाम में हटिस थोड़ा हिश. It could be because of mask once you go outside. It could be even because of fumes of sanitizer also, which you are using frequently. I hope I was able to answer the question.
Thank you, Dr. Saab. Dr. Saab, we have some questions. People want to ask questions by way of unmuting their audio, and they want to straight away get to you, sir. We have Dr. Bashar. Dr. Bashar, I would request Asif Saab to unmute Dr. Bashar. You could share your video as well and your audio as well and ask the question directly to Dr. Saab. Dr. Basharat, if you are there.
Sir, this is Dr. Basharat from Baramulla, Patan.
जी सर बताइए.
Sir, I have a question. I have a cousin brother in my home who is preparing for class 10th board exams.
Okay.
And he has a lot of tension and stress in his mind.
Mm-hmm.
How we can overcome that stress? And lot of students who asked me, Doctor, please suggest us. As this webinar is going on, please suggest best tips for the students.
See, सबसे पहली चीज जो मैंने बता दी आपको, ABCDEF. If you have seen that slide, that adequate sleep is very important. Second is balanced diet is equally important. Then you have connecting to your friends and family once you are in any kind of stress, and particularly exams. Then obviously devotion, वैसे बच्चे इसमें during their exams they devote themselves to namaz and other things and other religious activities. Then you have obviously in between you can have gaps in between and do a small exercise. And finally, if there are more issues, you can contact a psychiatrist. But telling about students particularly, I would say that we have gone through it. You as a since you are from faculty and you are in teaching profession, I think you are best suited actually to give them tips how you have gone through. Same applies to me. If I have a child who is in 10th or 11th or 12th class, I am the best role model for him, that how can I get him out of the stress. I have to actually reassure him that जैसे मैंने पास किया है, चाहे 10th का एग्जाम था, 12th का एग्जाम था. And more important, I would say, for teachers here is that I think we need to see the capabilities and explore them and exploit their good points, use their good points, and use the positives of every student in a right manner, rather than कभी कभार बच्चा 10 में से एक सवाल का जवाब नहीं दे पाता है. Don't discourage him. Even 10 में से वो 5-4 सवाल का जवाब दे देता है, 2 का आधा दे देता है, 1 का बिल्कुल थोड़ा सा देता है, 3 का बिल्कुल दे नहीं पाता है. So don't discourage him. My point is that for the students who are listening here, you need to understand you cannot be Mr. Perfect. See, life is like a milestone, like a journey. ये एक सफर की तरह है. ये आपने बात समझनी है, सब स्टूडेंट्स को समझनी है. Exam is like a milestone. Every exam, चाहे 10th का है, 11th का है, 12th का है, graduation का है, post graduation का है. You are covering the milestones. कभी कभार ऐसा होता है कि bumpy road होता है, आपका पेपर difficult होगा, I mean to say, आपका preparation उतना अच्छा नहीं, या exam के दिन ही आप बीमार हो गए. It is none of your faults. So what can you do is that every milestone you have to cover. किसी आपको अगर ऐसे 7 किलोमीटर ये लाइफ काढ़ी आत्मा शेष वो milestone 5 किलोमीटर गैसे सेफ जर्नी 5 किलोमीटर गैस असल जर्नी कहीं 5 किलोमीटर पको इस वारिया ज्यादा. So it's life is like a weather. I always see it like a weather. इत पट अस कशीर मन छ आसान मन शीन पेवान मन रूद पेवान मन ताप ज्यादा करान मन सहलाब यिवान, but we adapt to it. That is what life is all about. So exams is nothing new that is coming this year only, or lockdown is nothing new, at least which is coming this year only. It has been there. So share your experiences, your difficulties with your teachers, with your friends. That is the first aid you can give to your children. लेकिन मेरा ये कहना यहाँ पे जरूर होगा बच्चों से और पर्टिकुलरली टीचर से भी, जहां पे आपको बच्चे लोग डिफिकल्टी लग रही है अपने दोस्तों के साथ शेयर करें, अपने टीचर्स के साथ शेयर करें. दे आर द बेस्ट पीपल टू हेल्प यू आउट इनिशियली. लेकिन अगर आपको लगा कि स्ट्रेस से आपकी नींद नहीं आ रही, आपका खाना पीना कम हो रहा है, आपकी बहुत ज्यादा बेचैनी हो गई है, psychiatric issues जैसे लगने लगे, then you need to see a mental health professional. But initially, I will not tell you to see, all of you to see as mental health professional. The basic things, if you do nicely, that is what I said, A, B, C, D, E, F, I think most of the stress will be over. And reassurance from the parents and teachers is the cornerstone that builds the confidence of every person in our family. Yet, agar student, even patient, Godnish kath agar doctor shwana timis hai, issue ka issue me chi varia patient which mach gesi se ठीक. issue Allah Taala sin tarfa ke imtihanat sa dimo dawa sa rozek bilkul ठीक ठाक. So इसी तरह हर एक जो रोल मॉडल लीडर होगा घर में, they need to reassure their children that even if you perform bad, it is just one exam. It is not all about your life. 10th में आपके रिजल्ट्स कम आ गए, कोई इशू नहीं है. How does it matter? मुझे तो मैं अभी डॉक्टर हूँ, मुझे कौन पूछता है, मेरे तो अगर क्लिनिक है या हॉस्पिटल, वहां पे कहीं 10th के मेरे मार्क्स नहीं लिखे हुए हैं, 12th के कहीं मार्क्स नहीं लिखे हुए हैं, मेरे कहीं MBBS के मार्क्स नहीं लिखे हुए हैं, मेरे MD के मार्क्स नहीं लिखे हुए हैं. So grading that has come into the system, it is good, but I don't think it is the complete change in your life and milestones once it comes to grading. So this grading is just one part of your exams. If you develop good concepts, and even if you have lesser grades, lesser marks, it doesn't matter. You can flourish and you can do wonderful things in future. Jan Sahab.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Dr. Rauf Saab, he is Dr. Abdul Rauf. He is head department of statistics in our college. Wants to ask a question: how can we reach to the masses, who are suffering and yet are not, anyway able to get the medical help or mental counseling from anyone? and at the same time, and we people who are literate, who have access to mental health and counseling, how can we be helpful to them?
जान साहब मैं इसको एक लाइटर नोट पे जवाब दे देता हूँ. आई मेक थिंग्स लाइटर मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम्स. दैट इज माय हैबिट अनफॉर्चुनेटली. वंचन यारिन खुदाई सुन साग. Those who are illiterate, illiteracy in these times have been a bliss. Do you know what? I have seen 3 classes of people during this COVID in for last 6 months. One class of people it is not in Kashmir, J&K and India only. It is in America and England also. And if people know that around a week back there was a big protest in London itself that कि उन्होंने protest किया कि ये सब बकवास है, कोविड और ये कुछ नहीं है. For those people जो बिल्कुल ignorant हैं और या arrogant हैं, मानते नहीं हैं, उनकी एंजाइटी बहुत कम होती है, लेकिन ये एरोगेंस जो है खुदा न खास्ता उनको परेशानी में डाल सकती है. सो देयर इज वन सेक्ट ऑफ पीपल हु डोंट एग्री एट ऑल कोविड इज समथिंग लाइक अ डिजीज, लेकिन उनके लिए खतरा बन सकती है. तुम हवन पनिन बहुत दुरी तुम अगर कोविड मज गसन शिकार पन्निस पानस ते गस खराबी ते घर किस गरस इवन यम रिश्तेदार हमसाय तुमन ते गस खराबी. देन आई हैव सीन सेकंड सेट ऑफ पीपल who say, okay, fine, this is a disease, we'll take precautions, thoda bahut khosan tum daran thoda bahut, but this dar helps him take it them taking precautions and they are safe and secure. Tuman chun tyut kasni byak accept shim chu variya zyada khosan chu, wo bahut zyada dare hue hain ki covid mamari asi sani family mangas khuda rishin sari ma maro is garas man. So they become very anxious. Though this is the spectrum of people who have absolutely no anxiety. Second is that some have some amount of anxiety, but they utilize it for protective purposes. And third group I have seen is that जिनको बहुत ज़्यादा anxiety होती है, जिनको कोविड कभी होगा नहीं, लेकिन कोविड से जो anxiety है उनकी बेचारों की रात की नींद खत्म कर देती है. So as far as the illiterate people are those where there are technical difficulties, इंटरनेट नहीं है उनके पास, ऐसे इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स नहीं है, मोबाइल्स नहीं है, आईपैड्स नहीं है या दिस लैपटॉप्स नहीं है, उनके लिए ये है कि मैं देखता हूँ कि मैं आई गो टू मेनी प्लेसेस, आई गो टू बांडीपुर, आई गो टू सोपोर, एंड आई सी दैट पीपल इन रूरल एरियाज आर मूविंग एब्सोल्युटली फ्रीली. Hardly anybody is wearing a mask because there is hardly any concept. That is dreadful. I understand that's a very dangerous thing. But at the same time, just psychological part of it, that is coping. I was talking to one of my senior colleagues from Pakistan, who is a principal of a medical college as well as a psychiatrist. He said, "यार यहाँ को किसी को परेशानी नहीं है, कहते हैं यार ये कोविड कुछ नहीं है, बकवास है." But at the same time, there are people who have died. We have to understand. कुछ families को devastation हो गई, कुछ families में 2-2, 3-3 लोग मर गए, उनका कफन दफन सही तरीके से नहीं हुआ. They were literally उनको कफन दफन या तो पुलिस ने या डिस्ट्रिक्ट एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन ने किया. So in this context, we have done lot of programs. जो उन्होंने सवाल पूछा कि we have done a good number of programs. We understand again that we need to have people who are really working in the field, जो हमारे social workers हैं, जो हमारे NGOs हैं, जो हमारा education sector है. I think we can rope in all of them so that people are educated about COVID and how to prevent it spread in future, so that our society is free of COVID very soon.
Thank you, Dr. Saab. Dr. Saab, one more question, which I would like to, in fact, share with you, sir. This Pirzada Abdul Majid has a question to everyone. He says that I'm a student and in every field I fare, I tremble, and I feel always stressful. And he says his grandfather has a Parkinson's problem, Parkinson's disease, and that's he fears it more than anybody else.
Okay, so if it's a natural phenomena, if somebody has an issue in family, somebody has a problem, somebody has, whether it's a psychiatric diagnosis or a medical diagnosis, वो उनते कशिपट मिसाल, for example, अगर कहीं खुदा रचन गरस में malignancy आयस, कहीं कैंसर उक तकलीफ आयस, फादरस मदर या कहीं चाहे अंदरमन चाहे कुछ organस या कलस खुदा रचिन ट्यूमर अगर पत अम सिंदिस बच्चस मज या बयस मज कलस मामूली दोद बड़ एप्रीहेंसिव गसान कि शायद मा मे ट्यूमर तिक मे मालिस तो बयस इट इज़ नॉट ऑलवेज ट्रू इट इज़ नॉट ऑलवेज ट्रू दे आर एट हाई रिस्क बट इट डजंट मीन दैट आपको भी वही तकलीफ होगी। मैं इन साहिब से जिन्होंने ये सवाल पूछा पीर अब्दुल माजिद साहब, तो मैं कहना चाहूँगा उनसे कि अगर आपको एंग्जाइटी ज़्यादा लग रही है इट इज़ बेटर दैट यू कैन कॉन्टैक्ट अस ऑन आवर ईमेल एंड यू कैन डिटेल अस, क्योंकि 30 सेकंड में आपका सवाल देखने से और 30 सेकंड में जवाब देने से इट विल नॉट बी इट विल बी आई थिंक इनजस्टिस डीलिंग विद सच इश्यूज। मेरा ईमेल है, उस पर आप ईमेल कर दीजिए एंड गिव मी अ डिटेल्ड अकाउंट ऑफ योर इश्यूज एंड आई विल respond and reply back to you what is the best way to come out of your this problem.
थैंक यू सर। एंड मैं जो माजिद साहब अभी जो सवाल पूछ रहे थे इनके लिए मैं करूँ ईमेल जो डॉक्टर माजिद साहब का ईमेल है maajd70@gmail.com, वो स्क्रीन पे भी आपको शो करेंगे अभी, लेकिन वो आप देख सकते हैं या लिख सकते हैं maajd72@gmail.com, सारा स्मॉल में होता है। So next question, sir, it's from Umar Farooq. He says, can you please let me know, sir, if we are having few symptoms of COVID like mild cough and cold, should we consult the medical authorities and let it go?
See, the most important thing in COVID is that once you talk about COVID, if you have cough, which is एक तो normal cough होती है, जैसे मैंने कहा कि common cold से भी cough होती है, जुकाम होता है, लेकिन अगर आपको पता है कि किसी को COVID था, आप उसके contact में आ गए, so you are certain about contact with somebody, or else you had gone to some place जहां आपने सुना कि वहां फिर COVID diagnosis हो गया, चाहे आप किसी दुकान पे गए थे, चाहे आप हॉस्पिटल गए थे, क्लिनिक गए थे, कहीं क्लास में गए थे, कहीं कॉलेज गए थे, so wherever you have gone, so if you feel there is a history of COVID being diagnosed there and the symptoms have followed after it, then necessarily if you have a high grade fever, if you have cough, if you have breathlessness, अगर आपको myalgias हैं, वारिया दोद छु, कल पेट नलस ताइन छु वारिया दाग, तेल छु बेहतर कोविड टेस्ट करना उन, मगर आज चीज वुचा नॉर्मली इस माइल्डर इलनेस छु, मामूली सास छु, मामूली जुकाम, मामूली फीवर छु, ये छु नॉर्मली एज गसान आजकल कॉमन कोल्ड सहित। सो इफ यू हैव अ माइल्डर इलनेस देन देयर इज नो इशू। पर्टिकुलरली यहाँ पे मैं कहूँ कि जो हमारे यंगस्टर्स हैं वो उतना ज्यादा रिस्क में नहीं है, लेकिन यू हैव टू बी, अगर वो गरस मस कंशो सास या कफ छु या जुकाम छु, preferably even if it is common cold, try to be away from your elder ones particularly and from those जिनको ऑलरेडी कोई तकलीफ है, चाहे हार्ट की तकलीफ हो, डायबिटीज हो या अस्थमोक तकलीफ या सांसों तकलीफ, तो मनिश रोजो दूर। दिस इज माय एडवाइस एंड आई थिंक इफ द सिम्टम्स आर वेरी सिवियर, आपको बहुत ज्यादा बुखार है, बहुत ज्यादा खांसी है, बहुत ज्यादा घुटन हो रही है, then it is better to contact the medical authorities at the earliest. You are muted, sir. You are muted.
Jan Sab, you please unmute your mic. I request Jan Sab, please
Oh,
unmute.
yes, sir. Thank you, sir. I request Rais Saab, he wanted to unmute us. He had a question he wanted to ask it via the audio.
Assalamualaikum, sir.
Excellent.
Assalamualaikum, sir.
वालेकुम अस्सलाम, प्लीज गो अहेड।
बस अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह, मैं बहुत आपका शुक्रगुजार हूं। मैं एक्चुअली एक स्टूडेंट हूं, एजुकेशन डिपार्टमेंट, यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ कश्मीर साउथ कैंपस। माय क्वेश्चन इज दैट वंस वी आर इन आवर सोसाइटी, जहां पर जो हमारे बच्चे हैं, उन बच्चों से जब हम बात करते हैं वो यही बोलते हैं कि हमें प्रॉब्लम हो रही है इन टर्म्स ऑफ देयर स्टडीज, उनको मटेरियल नहीं मिल रहा है। क्या ये भी एक ट्रॉमा इसी कोविड का ही इन्फ्लुएंस है कि वो बोल रहे हैं हमारे पास नोट्स नहीं, पढ़ने के लिए तैयार नहीं है? जब हम खुद की स्टडीज भी देख रहे हैं, कभी कभी हमें भी अपने दिमाग में ये हो जाता है कि अभी मन नहीं करता है, अभी मूड नहीं है, कल देखते हैं, एग्जाम के लिए बहुत टाइम है। क्या ये कोविड का ही इफेक्ट इस पे है कि ये दूसरा कुछ है?
See, I would say here कि आपने तो अनसर्टेनिटी वर्ड सुना होगा। अनसर्टेनिटी को कशर पढ़ के हाँ पाई पगा क्या बन, कल क्या बन, रेत क्या बन, दोई रेत क्या बन। सो जब किसी भी मामले में कोई भी अनसर्टेनिटी होती है तो उस मामले में इंसान बहुत कंफ्यूज हो जाता है, उसकी कंसंट्रेशन खत्म हो जाती है, उसका अटेंशन कम हो जाता है। दिस ए नॉर्मल फिनोमिना। यहाँ पे मैं स्टूडेंट्स को, टीचर्स को, सबको कहूँ, वी आर इन अ क्राइसिस सिचुएशन, देयर इज नो रनिंग अवे फ्रॉम दिस थिंग, वी दे डेफिनेटली आर इन क्राइसिस सिचुएशन। सो यहाँ पे आप बोलेंगे कि जैसे आपके पिछले साल परफॉर्मेंस था, इस वक्त क्यों नहीं है? राइट नाउ एज द चाइनाज जेंट हैज ऑलरेडी सेड, अली बाबा का आपने नाम सुना होगा, इज वन ऑफ द रिचेस्ट बिजनेसमैन इन द वर्ल्ड, he has said that 2020 year 2020 साल 2020 you need to dedicate to save your lives। अगर आप जिंदा रहे तो आपका एकेडमिक्स, आपकी इकोनॉमी, आपका बिजनेस, आपका टूरिज्म, सब कुछ अगले साल से चलेगा। लेकिन अगर आप जिंदा ही नहीं रहे तो आप पढ़ेंगे क्या, आप इकोनॉमी कहाँ से लाएंगे, आप बिजनेस कहाँ से चलाएंगे? सो मी एज अ मेडिकल प्रोफेशनल आई वुड टॉक, माई प्रायोरिटी फॉर मी एंड माई फैमिली, the top priority right now would be save your life, save your family, save your loved ones. Obviously, academics are important. I don't deny the fact that academics are not important. But for me, even if you fare a bit less as compared to last year, doesn't matter for me as all as a doctor. As long as you are physically and mentally एक्टिव एंड हेल्दी। दूसरी चीज आपकी रही कि उनको एक्सेस नहीं है बेचारों को। यहाँ पे हम साउथ कश्मीर की बात करते हैं, आप लोगों का तो इंटरनेट हफ्ते में 3 बार बंद हो जाता है। इवन इफ यू हैव क्लासेस, यू हैव मटेरियल टू बी ट्रांसफर्ड, कहाँ से बेचारों को पहुंच जाएगा? सो इट इज रियली डिफिकल्ट टाइम्स फॉर अस। एक तो ऊपर से हमें कोविड है, दूसरे साइड से हमारा ये लंगड़ा 2G कभी चल भी नहीं रहा है। सो थिंग्स आर वेरी बैड। सो इन दिस सिनेरियो आई डेफिनेटली अप्रिशिएट एंड आई एक्नॉलेज the stress that our student population is going through, but we understand, I have also gone through these stages, let me tell you। डॉक्टर साहब, जो आपने सवाल पूछा, मेरा जो जब MBBS चल रहा था उस वक्त दरगाह सीज हुआ, हमारे बच्चे तो मेरे ख्याल में आई डोंट थिंक दे वर बोर्न दैट टाइम, 94 की बात है। इनको आसिफ साहब को शायद याद होगा, दरगाह सीज हुआ है, प्रिंसिपल साहब को उसका आइडिया होगा पूरी तरह से। दरगाह सीज हुआ और एग्जाम गॉट पोस्टपोन्ड बाय 9 months in medical college। So this is nothing new. So when you model submission pai, you should doctor, you should lecture, you diva. I have gone through these tough times as well. Our exam, we appeared in one paper and rest 5 papers were postponed by 9 months. That is what life is in Kashmir. So this is not new to us. COVID has added a new dimension in the sense that there is a fear of death. There is a fear of disease, definitely. So I would still say number 1 priority is your health. Not only your health, your family's health, your friends' health, your neighbors' health. And academics are there. Try to जितना आप कर सकते हैं करो, लेकिन उतना ज्यादा ना करो कि आपके हेल्थ पे गलत असर पड़े। That would be my message to all the students and people across.
I have another request. Sir, I have another request to Dr. Sir. ये कि जो हम अभी यूनिवर्सिटीज में पढ़ रहे हैं, क्या आप एक मास अवेयरनेस प्रोग्राम, जैसे आज हमने आपके जुबान से जो अल्फाज सुने हैं, बहुत खुश हुए, हमारे पास इतनी नॉलेज नहीं थी एज ए स्टूडेंट ऑफ यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ कश्मीर, क्या आप मास अवेयरनेस ऐसे प्रोग्रामों की करेंगे कि हर कॉलेज में, हर यूनिवर्सिटी लेवल पे ऐसे प्रोग्राम्स जिसमें एक अवेयरनेस हमें मिले सब बच्चों को, क्योंकि हम भी अपने क्लास में 80 to 90 स्टूडेंट्स हैं, मोस्ट ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स डू नॉट नो दीस थिंग्स।
वेरी आपका नाम क्या है, आपका इसम शरीफ क्या है?
रईस अहमद मीर सर।
रईस साहब, मैंने बता दिया आपको, मैंने GDC अनंतनाग के साथ प्रोग्राम किया जस्ट 2 weeks बिफोर। वहाँ पे डॉक्टर प्रोफेसर सुमेरा जी हैं शायद, बायोटेक्नोलॉजी डिपार्टमेंट में, शी ऑर्गेनाइज्ड द प्रोग्राम एंड देयर वर around 150 participants. I organized the program with the North campus of Kashmir University. उस टाइम वहाँ के डायरेक्टर थे, वो क्या नाम है उनका, he was the director there that time, भट्ट साहब। तो उसके बाद हमने यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ कश्मीर से, सेंट्रल यूनिवर्सिटी से प्रोग्राम किया। आई एम एब्सोल्युटली ओपन एंड लेट मी टेल यू ऑन अ लाइटर साइड, आई डोंट वांट एनी पेमेंट्स, आई डोंट वांट, जस्ट आपकी दुआ होनी चाहिए। आई एम देयर ऑलवेज टू डेडिकेट माई सेल्फ एज लॉन्ग एज आई एम हेल्पफुल टू यू। आई एम रियली हैप्पी दैट आई कैन हेल्प एनीबडी। अगर उससे, मैं तो 100 की बात नहीं करूंगा, अभी हमारे 100 पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं, अगर इनको 10 को ही लाभ मिलता है, I would see that would be a great service from my side, and उसके लिए मुझे अल्लाह जज़ा देगा, आपकी दुआएं होंगी, तो that would be a great thing for me as well.
Doctor, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
We are honored. It's not only 70 or 90 participants here. We are live streaming it on our YouTube as well, and there we have many participants, because it takes them some sort of work, some sort of doing to get connected to Zoom. But on Google, this YouTube, they can connect just at the instant. Okay, sir. So we
Thank
are
you.
so very thankful
Sorry,
that you are with us.
sorry to interfere, Jan Sab. I will like to tell that we have with us, we have almost 420 students, participants have
That's great. That's lovely.
for this
That's lovely.
program. So many of them were on YouTube and around 100 were here. So I will congratulate Dr. Majid Saab for this, because it's all because of Dr. Majid Saab that
अरे
students.
नहीं सर, आप तो मेजबान है, हम तो मेहमान है, हम तो खाने के लिए आए थे. आप तो मेजबान, आपने सारा अरेंज किया था. feast you had arranged. Feast means that the people who listen to me, it's always कहीं गलती हुई होगी, उधर इधर हुआ होगा. I talk lightly also in between, so I'm sorry for that, but this is the way I talk to my people once I am on in any seminar.
Dr. Saab, on a very personal note, I have seen you working at very close quarters. I'll just inform you passingly that my father was admitted to the what we call dermatology ward at your hospital, and I saw you. I would always see you coming, always vibrant and always enthusiastic to help the patients, and everybody in that because I was actually watching that from a very close distance. Everybody would rise up in joy when you would come to the ward and see to it everything is addressed to. How wonderful it was to see you there. And when I saw the photograph, I it could just kindle in me some sense of familiarity. So nice
Thank
of you,
you,
Dr. Saab, to have
thank
done
you,
that.
Jan Sab. It's a words up. I think I would. It's an encouragement for me. I try to do my level best, but there are always lacunes in everybody. So I do have a lot of lacunes as well. So people have to bear with it. Many doctors have lacunes, but many doctors are absolutely outstanding. And like many teachers are, there are lacunes, but teachers are outstanding. Let me tell you, I'm from a teaching background. My father, my mother, my sister, my wife, everybody is in teaching profession. So I salute
Wonderful.
you all teachers, you are doing a wonderful in these tough times also. And my message to all the students is that कि अल्लाह ताला ने बताया है ला तुकलिफुल्लाह, अल्लाह ताला तकलीफ उतना ज्यादा नहीं डालता है नफ्सन इल्ला वसाहा. एक बंदे को, एक नफ्स को वो उतना ज्यादा तकलीफ नहीं डालता है जो वो उठा ना सके. ये कुरान शरीफ की आयत है, सूरा बकरा की आयत है. सो सब स्टूडेंट्स को मैं ये कहना चाहता हूँ कि स्ट्रेस आपको आएगा, स्ट्रेस एंड स्ट्रेन इज पार्ट ऑफ लाइफ. डोंट रन अवे फ्रॉम इट, फेस इट. वंस यू विल फेस इट, you will be empowered to crack the solution and go ahead. हमेशा परेशानियों को लेके किसी और के पास मत जाइए, खुद भी सॉल्यूशन ढूंढने की कोशिश करिए. हाँ, फ्रेंड्स और फैमिली की मदद ले लीजिए ताकि वो एक्सपीरियंस्ड होते हैं, उन्होंने देखा होता है ऐसा मामला, आपको वो फैसिलिटेट करेंगे इन परेशानियों से बाहर निकलने की.
Thank you, Dr. Saab, for these words, for these kind words. I, on behalf of the Principal Government Degree College, Pulwama, Professor Farooq Ahmed Andabi, on behalf of Department of Computer Applications, Professor Head, Department of Computer Applications, Professor Asif Kabusa Saab, Professor Mohammad Iqbal Pandit, Mohammad Farooq Pandit, Professor Mohammad Iqbal Bhatt, Professor Manan Gul, and from my committee, since I am the convener debate seminar committee of the college, and all the members of the college, all the staff of the college, and mass, I thank you for having come and having given a nod to our invitation. Thank you so much. Your words are always, they are always in fact prized. They are so very needed right at this time when everybody is feeling, if so to say, if not seemingly, but internally, mentally ill. And we so very nicely, you have put in all your words, counseled us. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. My pleasure. Always there for any service in future. Thank you very much. Thank you. Allah Hafiz. Take care. I'll be taking your leave as I have a call from the hospital. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank you.
sir.